Isagi Yoichi is the perfect player. Imagine what would have happened if he had the body type, the physique, he had the strength, the agility, the speed, the techniques, everything. Imagine if Isagi was the perfect player, what would have happened in Blue Lock? Well, that's what we're going to get into now. This is what if Isagi was the perfect player. And if you enjoy, if you're on YouTube, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below. If you're on Spotify, make sure to show some love by hitting the follow and also the 5-star rating. And yeah, I'm not going to waste that much more of your time, and I just want to get into it. Let's get it. Isagi Yoichi is seen as this gem, this jewel, this amazing prodigy all around the world, and especially in Japan. Now, everybody looking in thinks that he is some prodigy, that he didn't work for this, that he is just lucky. But this was no luck. He wasn't lucky. He worked for this. He trained for this. Yes, genetically, he was pretty inclined, but still, he had to step on the field. He had to work out. He had to do all the things he needed to do, and it made him an absolute elite player. And honestly, his stock and his prospect would only rise when he would take on the team against Kira. Kira was also a very talented player, and many knew him as such. But when Isagi took him on, it seems like it was night and day, as if it wasn't that close by any means. Isagi would take on Kira, and it would be a spectacle. Isagi would show off his insane range, and he would shoot from absolute distances that nobody would even see coming. It was just insane. And everybody would kind of be in complete and utter awe just watching him dissect and obliterate this team that's in front of him and absolutely just destroy. He would watch, or everyone would watch, as he's able to pass the most beautiful and dynamic passes they've ever seen. They watch as his dribbling is so unorthodox but also so graceful that everyone just oohs and ahs as he just dips and dodges through Kira and their entire defense and their entire team. And eventually, it would lead them to a dominant win. And this would be a dominant fashion leading into their Nationals game. But the normal pathway to the very top, the normal kind of adventure to the very top for Isagi, well, it wouldn't happen the way you think. Because Isagi would celebrate with his team, head home, and the very next day he would get a letter that would change his life forever. This letter would change everything. This letter involved, well, one place and one place only, and that is Blue Lock. He would arrive at this place not knowing that it's called Blue Lock necessarily, and he would listen to what seemed to be a madman by the name of Jinpachi Ego, and he would speak to everyone there, speaking to every single person about what they're there for, what they're going to do, and so on. He would tell them all that this is their path to greatness, that being the greatest striker alive will give them not only fame and glory, will lead them to becoming not only the best, but also making Japan the best. And that's what they want. They want to lead Japan to a World Cup. And as he just continues to spew on, he talks about being an egoist, talks about channeling that ego and utilizing it to your best advantage. He continues to say this over and over again, saying that the best strikers all in the world have egos. The best strikers in the world are egoists, and that's the truth of it. So Isagi watches as a door would open, and Jinpachi Ego would leverage one thing, that the winner of Blue Lock, the very winner of Blue Lock, would be the striker for Japan's national team. But there's one thing, one caveat. If you're eliminated, you are never allowed to play for Japan's national team ever in your life. Now this would scare people, but Isagi would not be afraid. he would step through those doors looking at Jinpachi Ego as he walks through, and there is no fear in Isagi's eyes. He is not scared of a single thing. When he walks through, he would walk through the doors, and when he would walk through those doors, he would actually enter Team Z. When he would enter the room, he would be all dressed up in his blue lock attire, and he would wait for everyone to arrive. Eventually, everyone would, and Isagi would await the words of Jinpachi Ego. And when those words would come, it would all come on a basically a large screen. This large screen would have Jinpachi Ego talking about their first little test. They need to get rid of one person, and that one person is, well, gonna be the person that actually loses in this next little test that they have in mind. And this test is something a little bit different than you'd possibly believe. This test is actually a game of tag. Yeah, this would confuse a lot of people there, because why are they playing a game of tag? Why would you play a game of tag? But it's also then explained that this game of tag involves one major thing. And that major thing is that, well, if you're hit with the ball, you're it. And if you're it after a certain amount of time, after about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, then you are out and you are eliminated. And hearing this does put a ton of stakes onto this, and it definitely would scare many people. But eventually the game would start with the drop of a ball. The ball would drop from the sky, and everybody would kind of stay away from it, but Isagi would immediately go and step on the ball, telling them that, I mean, if they want to go big, well, they better take that next step. In which everyone realizes what he's saying, as immediately the ball is kicked extremely hard toward one of them, as the monk boy would get hit with it, flopping to the ground. He would slowly but surely recover as he takes the ball and tries to hit someone else with it. Isagi would kind of just dip and dodge and easily move around, as they kind of all struggled to try and not be it. But as everyone struggles, Isagi would eventually see and hear Kira call out that someone's sleeping on the ground and that they should just hit him. Monk Boy turns and is contemplating this as he decides to more or less not do that. But just as Isagi sees this, he would take the ball and kick it immediately at Kira, hitting him directly in the chest. And Kira tries to respond, but realizes he should just take the easy out. So he basically is about to kick the ball right at the sleeping person, but the sleeping person would wake up. This person is named Bachira, and he would kick Kira right in the face. As he kicks Kira in the face, everyone would kind of say that that's cheap and so on, but Isagi says that he thinks otherwise. I mean, look at what he was trying to do. He was trying to hit someone that was sleeping, that was defenseless. And if you want to talk about fairness, that is fair. In which Bachira would say that he won't kick or hit anybody anymore. And as he would receive the ball himself, and basically on purpose, he would take the ball and kick it toward Isagi. But it would actually look like he's trying to pass the ball to Isagi. Isagi would take it and kick it directly back toward Kira, smacking him in the face with it, thinking that Kira is the best suited to leave now. That he doesn't want to hear this whole Kira being a fair player when he just tried to more or less kick a ball at someone that was sleeping or laying down defenseless. At the end of the timer, Kira would be the one with the ball in his hands technically, and Kira would be the last person to be it, which means, well, the main thing, and that means he is out. That he is out, and it seems as if, well, Kira and his stay here, there's a very short ending to it. So that's exactly what happens. Kira is eliminated, and it seems like they're down to now 11 people. After Kira struggles to leave and just doesn't want to, but eventually is let out, everyone would begin listening to Jinpachi Ego as he explains that these 11 people will now be on a team, and that they will make up a team that will lead to them taking on basically each other teams that are in this facility. Hearing this, they're kind of excited, but also kind of taken back by this. The fact is, they're all strikers, so how are they going to do this? How is it going to all work? And of course, Jinpachi Ego would say that it was once a time that everyone was a striker, that it was all just strikers, and now they're going to have to adapt to that specifically. So Jinpachi Ego tells them to figure it out because their next game is very, very soon. And a little bit of training later and just working out and getting ready, it would eventually lead to their first game against Team X. Now, Team X is in the same boat as them in terms of not really understanding where to go and not really understanding what to do. And that's perfect for their team because at the end of the day, there shouldn't be as many struggles when they both don't know what to do. And when the start of this game would begin, it was obvious that they would all be fighting for the ball. They all fought for the ball, and the reason for this is because if their team doesn't go on to the next round, the person with the highest number of goals will go on to the next round, or it's a mix of goals and assists. So they all fight over the ball, and eventually the ball would pop up, and the two people there waiting is Isagi and Bato. They would both jump for the ball, but it seems like Isagi has more height on him, and he steals the ball from Bato. Bato tries to steal it back, but would get nutmegged, and he would get passed by immediately as Isagi would go racing down the sidelines, and it seemed as if no one could keep up with him. No one was fast enough to even catch up to him as he would score an easy goal. And the effect that Bato would normally have is the same effect that Isagi would have, but just better. Isagi would show his entire team his capabilities and what he's available to do and how good he truly is. So when he's racing down the field and he looks for open people, seeing Bachira, Kunigami, and anybody down there, people like Gagamaru, he would pass it beautifully, perfect actually, to them, and they would score goals very easily. Isagi would wave them off on certain instances to have other people score goals. And actually, this would lead to everybody but their goalie to score 1 goal each. Yeah, you heard that right. So they would end 10-0. Yeah, that is an absolutely insane scoreline. But Isagi wanted to make it obvious that if they facilitate through him and they allow all of the offense, the defense, all of it to run through him, that he'll make them the perfect team. And let's just say this was a pretty easy way of getting people to actually believe that he's that dude, even though he didn't say or try to convince them in the first place that he's like basically him. But after that game, after winning by such a large margin, everybody knew that Isagi was going to benefit or was going to majorly help everyone around him. And this is when they kind of decide that they're going to actually trust Isagi. They're going to trust him and actually rely on him to a certain extent. Isagi will be the facilitator, will be the main dude that's calling the shots, and they'll figure out play styles and stuff like that throughout this time, or at least this short bit of time that they have before the next game. They come up with some schemes and stuff like that, and Isagi says that just to be ready to adapt on the fly, because they never know exactly what's to come. And Isagi tells them that if he has to take over, he'll fully take over, but he has full trust in the idea of expanding their offense based on teamwork. Yes, there is a different version of teamwork here, especially since they're all strikers, but use their abilities as a striker to their own advantage, because if they do, then they can definitely level up to whatever Jinpachi Ego believes they can get to. So the next game would be against Team Y, and it would be against Okawa and Nico. These two seem to be a pretty good dynamic duo, but Isagi quickly at the beginning of this game would realize the restrictions that Okawa and Nico put on each other. At the end of the day, Okawa is just a run and gunner, basically someone that is this speedster that is a gunner and that will just go down the field streaking as fast as possible and would kind of try to swerve in and out of defenders. But once you put a cap on Nico, basically there is nothing that he can do, nothing Okawa or Nico could do. And this puts them in a drastically bad situation. And they come to that conclusion very quickly because it's obvious what's going to happen and what's going to occur. Well, Okawa and Nico are basically put on the back foot very quickly and are pressured to kind of not do very well, or pressured to more or less try and adapt to what's in front of them. But yeah, it's not that simple. They can't adapt as quickly as Isagi is adapting, and they can't figure out what they need to do to stop Isagi from scoring and stop whatever is happening from happening. And they realize that very quickly because Isagi puts them on the back foot so quick. And this drastically changes the game for them. Isagi's team would score goal after goal after goal, and every single person would be in complete and utter awe. It seems as if he's able to kind of intertwine play styles between everybody, and it seems as if there is an insane amount of stuff going on at this moment. And it seems like an insane amount of communication very soon. Isagi would show the level of playstyle he has compared to, well, Nico's team. And Nico would even remark that it seems like Isagi is the perfect player. He reminds him so much of one Noel Noah. It seems as if Isagi can score from any angle, but his passing ability, his dribbling, his speed, it seems like it's a combination. It's as if he's a grown man playing against children. It's kind of unfair. That's what it feels like. It feels like Isagi is genuinely a grown man, and that he is just levels above the people he's playing against. And this is not a good feeling as a football player. This is not a good feeling as a player in general. When there's someone on the other side of the field that seems to be levels above you, it feels like that he can't be touched, as if nothing they do will work. It's something that nobody wants to feel, and the dissection and obliteration of Nico's team would ensue, and it would show just that. It would show domination. It would show obliteration, and Isagi would walk all over that team. Now, with that said, all these games that they do, including the next one, will be a showing of Isagi. But Isagi wants every single player on his team to level up and transcend, because he believes that as they grow, he will grow, and there is no catching him necessarily, but he feels that the better the players he plays around, the better he could possibly get. Maybe everyone around him sees him as the perfect player, but a sword could always get sharper, and a wall could always get stronger. It's that simple. You always evolve, you always transcend, and you always push even further. At the end of the day, just because a military tank works, and just because it's pretty sturdy and really strong, doesn't mean you don't want it to be stronger. Doesn't mean you don't want it to be durable or more durable. These are things that Isagi thinks about, and throughout his time, he knows that this is the perfect way for him to get even better. And this would eventually lead to a conversation with the future Red Panther, the future speedster of Blue Lock, Chiguri. He would speak to him, and Chiguri wouldn't take him that seriously because it seems as if Isagi has it all figured out. Why does he need to talk to him? But Isagi tells him exactly what he believes, exactly what he thinks, and eventually he would tell Chiguri that he wants to see the best of him. He wants to see him transcend to the next level, wants to see him level up to levels beyond what he's been doing, and levels beyond what they would even believe he would be capable of. He wants to see Isagi transcend to he wants to see Chiguri transcend to the next level, but he's not gonna lie, this will also benefit himself and transcend him even more. Chiguri would shake his head a little bit and say that he doesn't understand what he's been going through and what he does go through, and Isagi would agree, he doesn't, but allow him to understand, so they both can evolve and become even greater strikers. And this would revive Chiguri's look in his eye, and it seems as if Chiguri is ready for the next step, ready to take on the people that once tormented him, and that would be against the Wanama twins. But for now, that is the end of part 1. Part 1 of What If Isagi was the perfect player. So if you enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And you might be seeing some changes to this channel very soon. I do want to go stay daily. I've been a little inconsistent with actually working on some of these what ifs. I know you guys have been getting videos, but those were videos that were already bulk recorded from the past. So I got a little break. Now I'm here. I think I'm going to be doing I'm not going to be doing what I used to where I did 30-minute videos each. I mean, you might see those, but you also might see some one-shots in the near future. You might see kind of a different style of doing what ifs. I haven't 100% decided on it just yet. You might even see this channel go from a video a day to 3 videos, 4 videos a week, depending on how I see the channel in a certain light and how I want to evolve these what ifs, because I do want to change the style and change the what ifs on my channel for the future. But we'll see. As always, I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all make sure to show some love. If you're on Spotify, like I said, leave a follow, leave 5-star rating, and if you're on YouTube, like, sub, comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, if you want to see other what ifs, check out my Dragon Ball channel, The Golden Emperor. And that's all I gotta say. I hope you all have an amazing day. Later.